Fuck. Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to the podcast we call Comes Naturally. And as always, we ask you to help us out and do a couple things before we get started. First, please go to our Facebook page, like and share the Facebook page. Interact, we'll reply back, faux show. Then go to Twitter, follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is
At Comes Natural Pod.
And then when you're all done with that, please head on over to iTunes, rate the podcast, review the podcast, and then subscribe to the podcast. That way it downloads for you automatically when it becomes available every Friday morning without having to do a damn thing.
One more thing before we start the show proper.
Yes.
I have now set us a thing where, I don't know why, but I did it, where you can now subscribe to get the podcast through Facebook Messenger.
Oh, damn.
And I'll be posting the instructions how to do that on Friday. So you can
So if you're like, hey guys, I want to subscribe to the podcast, but I'm always on Facebook and I can't ever get to the Apple Podcast app, we got you covered.
Yep. And so the instructions will be on there how to do it, how to sign up for it. It is completely free to do. It's just another service that you can get it through if you don't have iTunes or don't use iTunes or don't want to do the direct download. This is just another way you can get it, and
it helps us out.
It does help us out. So,
and then also, if you guys have suggestions of what kind of show you want us to do, shoot it at us. If you want us to watch an old shitty movie like we used to, let us know what shitty movie you want us to watch.
Because we'll watch it.
If you want us to fantasy cast a movie for you, give us a premise, give us some roles, we'll fill that bitch in. And we actually, no bullshit, we have a pretty good track record of talking stuff into the universe. So if you got a passion project you want to see that you don't think is getting made,
let us put it out there.
Let us put it out into the world. Give us 3 years and that shit will get announced. I'm not going to say guarantee, but, you know, as close as I can get to guarantee.
12% chance.
I'm going to say 11.9% chance.
Lower than 12, so that's not better for us.
But it's better than 0.
Speaking of betting for us, Comes Naturally, we are.
I almost said Joe. I almost said Joe. I'm Mike.
You are also.
Not Joe.
Yep, not Joe. I am Cody. Joe is not here. Joe is sick. I will not make my comment from earlier. He is just not feeling well, so he's at home resting.
Can you imagine like somebody with a bad immune system? Like what type of person would have a bad immune system?
Or none at all.
And that's how Joe is. Joe is just not enjoying this jump from one weekend being in 70-degree weather and then jump into 105-degree weather. And then like the kind of little colds that everyone's getting, he's just getting that shit full force.
He takes 5 common colds and makes them one big super cold.
Yeah.
So he likes math a lot.
He's like Chris Evans at the end of Fantastic Four 2, where he combines all of them and makes one really
terrible movie.
Fucking movie.
Yep. It's basically what Joe does. He takes 5 terrible things and makes them worse by combining them.
It's so mean.
He's not here to defend himself, so fuck him. Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode. We would call it the Mike and Cody Show. Mainly because it's just Mike and Cody.
So I was looking, I don't know exactly when you started the show.
A while ago.
But we were talking about that movie Fallen with
Denzel
we were.
Washington, the old school movie from 1990 something.
Ooh, 98.
Oh, dang, almost the millennium.
I want to say that was a good year for movies. I feel like that around about time felt like a shit ton of dope stuff was coming out.
Also, 98 was the time where movies changed for more, like, genre movies became mainstream around that time. Before that, you had the mainstays. You had like the vampire movies. Like before 98, you had like Interview the Vampire, and a lot of those ones are like very few and far between from mainstream movies. But 98, right after that, like 98 was like when you got Lord of the Rings, and like that along with Harry Potter and some of those other ones around that time frame blew up genre movies and nerd stuff to be more the mainstream, and it's because also where Marvel started to take off. Like, it was a few years later when Marvel proper started, but a lot of that stuff, because around that same time was like Bryan Singer's X-Men, and like you had the Blade movies were still a hot thing around that time. But yeah, no, that time was it was a very big turning point, because
I feel like mainstream shit was taking chances that hadn't been taken in a long time.
they're also taking what would have been like your typical blockbuster for before that was like The Rock. When I say that, I don't mean the human being The Rock. I mean the movie The Rock.
Yeah, because in '98, The Rock was wrestling Stone Cold.
It's true.
Not making movies yet.
And because of that, you didn't have big budgeted like CG stuff going out there. It was all practical, you know. The most elaborate thing you had was jets flying over and pretending they shot rockets down at the Rock, which is Alcatraz Island, if you didn't know what that movie's about. Which
That was a pretty practical movie, huh? Thinking about it.
Yeah.
There's not much going on there.
There's a couple helicopter shots, the planes flying over, and the big chase in the city,
And
going down into the park.
when he stole his Humvee.
Yep, that's basically it. Everything else is just guys shooting guns and in small corridors and running around, stuff like that. So
That's another one talking about like going back and looking at a cast. That cast was pretty dope.
Ed Harris, obviously, the Sean Connerys, Nicolas Cage. What was the army guy's name? The one that led the group in.
Well, Michael Bain, what the fuck? John Connor.
Yeah. Oh Jesus, Michael Bain, right?
I don't know.
It's
I don't know.
Bine.
H. There's an H in
Yeah,
there.
somewhere there. Yeah. He's also an alien with his face all melted.
Yeah. Well, that one didn't happen anymore, right?
No, that one did. Because that
No?
was from. Oh no, that was
That
3.
was the start of 3.
That's right. Yeah. Because
So
he was
still
in
alive.
he was an alien.
Fucking John Connor's still alive. And we didn't talk about this on the show, but Terminator
We did.
and Aliens. No,
Did
it
we
was
talk
all
about the show?
before. It was all before.
Really?
Yeah, because
Oh my
remember
God.
we're.
I have so many theories to go over today, dude. So many theories.
But it is a little known, but also a confirmed fact
confirmed fact:
that Predator
Predator. I don't know why I'm
and
following you like that.
and Terminator are in the same universe.
You know what that means, right, Mike?
That means Alien
Yes.
is also in the same universe.
Yes.
We're not talking those shitty Alien versus Predator movies.
No.
There's more to it, backstory wise.
So, what Mike is talking about? We'll break this down real quick. So, there's a video game from 1998. Oh, weird, 1998.
Good
I believe it is, Yep. That was called Alien versus Predator, and it was before the movies were a thing. Shortly before the movies were a thing, if I'm not mistaken. I could probably look it up. But in the game, it was a side-scrolling game where you had 3 different people you could play as. One of the characters you got was named Major Dutch, if I'm not mistaken, what they called his name, or D.
Something like that.
Yeah, something Dutch. It doesn't matter. When you see him, and you can look this up if you type in Dutch Alien versus Predator video game, maybe I could probably check that for you. It will actually, you'll see it, and it's a very stylized look at a gentleman, and he oddly looks a lot like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And the story is he is a surviving member of a group that was taking on a alien species known as the Predator. And he was so good at it, he was brought into this fold as a specialist, and over time his body got ruined and they turned him into a cyborg. And little did we know is the company who made that cyborg, his name is Cyberdyne. Are you seeing where this is coming from? So Predator led to the building of, or the design of a predator killing machine. Gentleman whose body they basically copied and made into an exoskeleton. I can't talk apparently. Still can't say that word.
Ectoskeleton.
Sure, why not? And that person was Dutch, who happened to be from Predator. So the Terminator, the T-800 model, which you see from Predator or from Terminator and Terminator 2, and later on models because it's the same one Arnold Schwarzenegger plays. That is based on the gentleman Dutch, who oddly enough was played by
Arnold.
Schwarzenegger in Shane Black's masterpiece Predator.
That wasn't Shane's Black movie.
He was in it.
Yeah, but it's not his masterpiece.
That's where he came from?
The next one's gonna be his masterpiece.
Oh, for sure. So what I'm saying is, in the details of this, technically in the world that Cyberdyne is made its big revelation is going from war machines that you saw, unfortunately, in Terminator 3, those tank ones, to the, again, unfortunate salvation you saw, the less or more humanoid, but still very, not humanish with the gun arms.
Yeah.
Terminators, which I think were the 600s, right?
Yeah, the big tank looking one on the
Well,
like
the T-100 was the tank one, right?
Yeah.
The T-600 is the one that has the gun arms that looks humanoid.
And just marches real not fluently.
Yep.
Yeah, that one had the guns.
And then
I just did a quick Google search though. It's not technically confirmed.
well, when I say this,
But-
it's
But the certain because of the verbiage that was used in the game,
which is canon
which is
to
canon.
the Alien movies.
Yeah. They couldn't use those and they're crossing platforms and universes there. So it's still technically a fan theory, but it's about as airtight of a fan theory as you can get.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Oh, that is not the right one. Did you look up movies from 1998?
no.
Why we were talking about it?
I was looking up what that guy.
Oh yeah,
that guy wrote.
Armageddon, Saving Private Ryan, Big Lebowski, Truman Show, Dark City, which is one of my favorites. There's something about Mary, American History X, A Bug's Life, Ronin. You have A Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Mulan. I'm not a big fan of it, but Thin Red Line, people like that movie. Blade is right there. Enemy of the State, the terrible Godzilla movie. Mike's favorite Sylvester Stallone movie, Ants.
Yeah.
The Wedding Singer. There's a lot of movies. There's a lot of movies in 1998 that just were really big hits, and right after that was just a. There's a lot of them. They're considered.
And there's some that have stayed on as kind of cult classics too.
Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels.
Can't Hardly Wait.
Yep.
Lost in Space. That movie is so trash, dude.
All right, Joe, calm down.
Even as a little kid,
Gods and Monsters.
when I watched that one, which one's that one?
The one with what's his name?
Oh yeah.
That guy.
Yeah, I got you.
Magneto. Can't think of his fucking name right now. But there's a lot of movies that came out that time that were fucking good as shit. Oh yeah, when Brendan Fraser was an actor, remember that was a thing?
He was good for a stretch too.
Yeah, and then he lost his mind.
Did he lose his mind or did he just stop making good movies? Because that happens.
That could be it too.
We're gonna make a vehicle to get Brandon Fraser back in the
Encino Man 2. Link to the Past.
No.
That's a Zelda reference. So speaking of fan theories, I have one of my own, Michael. We discussed last week after the podcast, because what a great time to talk about stuff when we're not recording.
To kind of let you in behind the curtain a little bit, we will sit here and talk for 2 hours.
Yep.
Record an hour to an hour and a half podcast, and then sit here and talk for another hour.
Yes.
So
when we should be recording it all and cutting it up.
Yeah.
But we don't.
Yeah.
Why? We're professionals. Being in our third year and all. So there's this comes off the heels of this. I discovered this last week, and I'll get into the details. But earlier this week. I said it's Wednesday. I believe Monday or yesterday, Tuesday of recording. It's Wednesday. I want to say it was Monday, but anyways, there was a leaked press release from China for Star Wars: The Last Jedi that hadn't hit the States yet and still hasn't officially hit the States yet. Boasting a secret of all secrets that will shock and awe all fans of Star Wars, young and old. And it's referenced to be bigger than when Luke found out that Darth Vader was his father.
Yeah, and they're selling it high, huh?
Yes. So that's a lot to put on a movie. But I don't know what that is. No one knows what it is because, again, that press release wasn't officially released. Not even in China. It was leaked from a one sheet that they, as they call them, which has a description, was translated and said the shock of all shocks. My theory, we have talked a little bit about this before, of lineage of Rey. We still don't know Rey's last name, and this will not shed exactly what her last name is, but it might shed of where she came from. It breaks down like this. We've talked about the ages of the characters. We talked about when they were born, around when they were born, based on their ages. Just recently, as of last week, a comic book came out called Star Wars: The Screaming Citadel. It is an adventure of Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Princess Leia, and another character introduced in the Darth Vader comic book. All canon, all in line with the movies and in the cinematic universe and all the Star Wars stuff. Her name is Dr. Aphra. I'll explain this to you, who she is, real quick without going into crazy detail. She is a smuggler. She's a pilot. She's a gun-toting crazy person. Loves shooting first and asking questions never. She runs around with not only a Wookiee sidekick, but she also runs around with a protocol droid and an astromech droid. Now, if that doesn't scream an amalgamation of both Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, I don't know what the fuck else it does. But the Screaming Citadel pairs up people in odd groups. Leia and Han are together, along with Han Solo's faux ex-wife. That's a whole different story. We won't go into that. And Luke and Dr. Aphra. So Dr. Aphra is more of a euphemism. She is not a doctor, other than Dr. Chaos and Unrest. But the story, I'm not going to go into the story of what Screaming Citadel is about. It doesn't fucking matter. Mainly because I haven't fully read the second issue yet, so I'm not too sure what it's about. But about today, so we'll find out. But there is a scene in the first issue, and again in the second issue because I flipped through it, where there's a moment that Luke and Dr. Aphra kind of have a thing. Now, they don't bang just yet. There's 5 issues. This is a comic book made for all ages. So they're not going to show it. You're not going to see Luke put his saber in some lady, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But there's a moment, easily a moment, where like they lock eyes and it's really intimate. And you're like, oh, dang, these two going to bang. Right? So I thought, that's weird. Why would they? That was such a strange thing. And we were promised we were going to find out the lineage of Rey in episode 8, which happens to come out the same year that a miniseries that's set before the events of episode 5, Empire Strikes Back, where Luke is still not yet a Jedi trained yet. He's got a little bit of, what he learned from Obi-Wan. Has not met Yoda yet. He is yet to explore his abilities other than being able to wield a lightsaber and pull things at him. In this story, he's about 20, 21 years old, 19, 20, somewhere around there, 19 to 22 or so. Which you could imagine, you're the guy who blew up the Death Star, riding high in your success. You're running around the galaxy, meeting ladies,
banging ladies,
throwing down. And maybe you hook up with this crazy hot, Dr. Aphra chick, who by the end of this small miniseries disappears from your life forever. And little did you know, she's got a bun in the oven. And that bun in the oven grows up. Boy or girl, doesn't really matter what it is, because that's not the point. Well, it is the point, but not the point. That person then has a bun in said oven again, his or hers, whichever how it happens. Could be she had a daughter. That person then got pregnant by someone else. They had a little child about 17 years or so before the events of A Force Awakens. Finds out that their father and grandfather of their newly born daughter is a Skywalker, a Luke Skywalker, who everyone in the galaxy is searching for, wants to kill, and will do anything to do that. So what do you do with this baby?
Take him to a trash planet.
You take him to a trash planet on the outer rim with no affiliation to either side.
And you hope that the Millennium Falcon's going to end up there someday.
I don't think you hope that, but it's just a happy coincidence.
Oh.
So what I'm saying is, and I'll explain where my theory comes from, and from the most asinine theory in the world that I read online the other day, which made me mad after my amazing deduction powers. Luke hooks up with Aphra. Aphra doesn't tell Luke that she is with child. She runs off, has the baby in secret. That baby grows up not knowing who their father is. That baby has a baby with somebody else. Babies having babies. Then they find out that Luke is the grandfather of their newly born daughter. They then try to hide said daughter in the outer rim away from everybody, the skirmish that is the Galactic Civil War. But little do they know that they don't get back in time, probably die in said Civil War or captured somewhere. Rey's force powers get awakened along with, the story of Finn and her come about. Boom, you have Force Awakens. Rey's grandfather is Luke. She meets him at the end of the movie.
Now, that's all sound.
Okay.
And I'm not going to poke any holes in this. I'm
Okay.
just going to add something to it.
All right.
Rey knows the stories
Yes.
of Han Solo and Luke Skywalker.
Yes.
All right. Now, granted, everyone probably knows the stories, but she has that brief memory that you see in the movie of her like reaching to her parents. Remember, like that flashback?
The ship.
Oh, yeah. And so with that, like, she's old enough to know she's getting left somewhere.
Yep.
It's not like, Leia going to Jimmy Smith's as a baby and you don't know. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, you don't know. So she knows she's being left.
Yes.
So that, to me, like, another thing that could go into this is, like, they tell the stories of her grandfather, but not telling her it's her grandfather.
Yes.
But letting them know everything they can about it. And it makes sense if you think about it, because you can't, like, she's a dope ass pilot too, and Luke was one of the most dope pilots.
So is Aphra.
Yeah, so it just makes sense that something like that's in you. You know what I mean? So I like the theory, and the comic books are canon with Star Wars now.
Yep. The Marvel
So-
stuff is canon.
Yeah,
The Dark Horse stuff. out the
yeah,
window.
all that stuff's gone now, but the current stuff is in canon with the universe. And there's been other little hints before Force Awakens, right?
Yeah.
So like, it's not crazy to think that they could drop a little bit of a hint into there. And
In past former canon stuff, Luke was attracted to bad ladies. He was had a inkling for the naughty ladies. Mara Jade, if anyone knows who that is an assassin sent by the Emperor to assassinate Luke. His dashing ways and handsome looks swayed her. They fall in love, and if I'm not mistaken, she dies carrying his child, like in her.
yeah, but that story's gone.
That
now.
sounds So
But that was a story. So I mean, I feel like because you got to remember too, like 10 years ago, nobody thought we were ever gonna get another Star Wars movie.
yeah,
So like the canon stuff was just like, yeah, whatever.
Do whatever you want,
But
motherfuckers.
you feel like they're gonna keep some of it, some of the cool shit. You know what I mean? Because it's been done. So it all makes sense, and the timelines kind of make sense. You know, because you got a couple years leeway here and there to mess with, for sure. But
And it's not unlikely that Luke, who is 70 something in the movies, or almost 70, I think is like, because he's 60 something like that. I can't remember the exact age they tell him that they say he is. He could have a 17-year-old granddaughter at that age. Now, the other fan theory I spoke of during my fan theory that I read online that really bothered me, and the shock of all shocks that this is where it comes from. Again, I don't know nobody knows yet what the shock is, but some guy on Reddit, because that's where they get the greatest news from, broke down his plan. I'm not going to go through all the asinineness that it is. Says that Rey is Kylo's daughter, making her Leia's granddaughter. I'll give you the details. So he is 32 or 33 in A Force Awakens. I did the math. That makes him having babies when he's literally a baby. Like, he's 14 when he spits out a kid. Not unheard of, I mean, especially nowadays in our world. So this is the brief history of what they say happens. He falls in love with another Jedi apprentice under Luke. Luke says that cannot happen. Separates the two, sends her away to another temple to train to keep Kylo focused, or Ben at that time focused. Ben does not like that. Very similar to something that would happen with his grandfather. He then falls to the dark side, gets persuaded by Snook to basically take down the Jedi along with Luke. Luke is away at the time, obviously, as we've seen from both the new trailer as well as the movie. So Luke survives. But Kylo is searching for his girlfriend, his baby mama. Here's a rumor that he had a daughter with her, that the mom is dead, and he's on a search for the girl. Hence the line, "What girl?" when he grabs a dude with a force choke. Because he is well aware that there's this daughter of his out there, and he wants her to be with him. That's the other fan theory that I read. That's supposed to be the big twist and shock that's coming up in episode.
I don't hate it on paper. Like, it kind of makes sense until you get to the point where they're like there's not enough age difference.
13 or 14 years between them, yeah.
Yeah, like that kind of fucks it all up, because like everyone is pretty familiar with the ring theory for Star Wars, how everything is basically one story getting told over and over and over again. So it makes sense that it would be something similar as to what happened to his grandfather, because like Anakin was pretty young when he banged.
Well, Padme was older.
Yeah, but Anakin was young,
like way older. Well, she was 15 when she met him, and he was like
8 or 9.
Yeah, 8 or 9. So like, there's a 6 or 7 year gap between them. He was a teenager, well into his teens, if not closer.
Do we know how old Rey is?
Rey is 17.
Well, the time frame's not that off then.
Yeah.
If Rey's only 7, I thought Rey was like in the 20s.
She's 17. She's supposed to mirror Luke, being that she's almost 18, just like he was on a desert planet.
Because when you're 18 and you're a Jedi, you don't get puberty; you get the Force.
It's true.
It's just,
I mean, yes, basically. But there's, we've talked about on the show before. People get upset about it, but it's the way they tell these stories. They
metachlorians.
Metachlorians, yeah. A lot of the movies mirror themselves in drastic ways. A young boy who's on a desert planet, just happens to be Tatooine, for both Luke and Anakin, get discovered by a mentor of types. Anakin was a lot younger than Luke was, by at least 10 years. but they both get absconded because bad shit happens. Get drawn into this fight that they had they knew nothing about. They end up saving everybody by destroying a spaceship with another spaceship. And then you go to Ray. Hers is a little different, but similar. Desert planet. Doesn't really have parents. Has a guardian that not exactly the best for him, sort of thing. Little things like that, but it does make sense. Do you have math? Do you have math skills right now?
A calculator?
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I got math skills. What you gonna do about it?
Because my brain's not working. If you minus 32 and 17, you get 15, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if this fan theory is correct, the main masked villain will basically, in the second movie, right, tell the hero, this one being Ray, the good side, that they are that person's father. Just yet another mirroring of what happened in the previous adventures. Now, that did not happen to Anakin because Anakin never met his father because he didn't really actually have one. If you go by the not really so much fan theory, more of just looking at what details are said, because Palpatine told him a story about a gentleman who was able to manipulate the Force enough to create life, and Anakin was born without sexual intercourse.
So Anakin was Jesus.
Anakin is the Force Jesus, and he did get sacrificed. The difference is he went the other way instead of the good way. So just like Luke, Rey grew up on a
Rey
desert
is
planet.
introduced as a 19-year-old woman, it says.
19-year-old? So which makes him 13 at the time?
Yeah, that can't.
That's a bit rough.
Because, like,
I could have swore they said he was... Yeah, I could be wrong. I looked at timelines before, but still, even if she's 19, she still could be Luke's granddaughter easily. Because he's like 60-something, so that could happen for sure.
I mean, a lot of it makes sense until you get to the fact that, like, Kylo had been banging it, like, constantly at fucking 13. Like, that makes it weird, right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to see if there's any actual evidence of how old she technically is. And because we don't know who her parents are, we don't even know... we don't know her last name, but we don't know when she was born either. We just know she's not as old as Kylo. Because Kylo was born shortly after the events of...
The Force Awakens visual dictionary says 19-year-old Rey.
Okay.
So that's where
that comes from.
Her age is coming from.
Okay. So a visual dictionary...
There's no canon answer for Kylo.
Kylo's timeline, the one I found out...
Kylo's 36?
Could be.
Like,
I mean, she's... Yeah, because that gives him 19 years on
yeah.
her.
So if he's like 36, 35 to 37, it could have some legs.
Yeah.
But, like, just looking at him, though, there's no...
Yeah, because, I mean, I have my friend Matt. Matt, I know you're listening. He has an 18-year-old daughter, and he is 2 years older than me. So it makes him 37, 38. So, I mean, that's a likely, could be, you know.
So someone says Ben, speaking of Kylo, is 29 years old at the time of The Force Awakens. In Aftermath, Empire's End, Leia gives birth to Ben shortly following the end of the Battle of Jakku, which takes place in 5 ABY, 1 year after the Battle of Endor.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Battle of Endor, because 30 years from last Star Wars to The Force Awakens. So, yeah, he's only 30. So you couldn't have a like unless you got that force sperm.
Yeah.
That sounds rapey.
Yeah, because this is the star chart, as they call it, your handy guide to the galaxy far, far away. So this gives the saga breakdown for the movies, so film sagas. You have episode 1 took place 32 years before the Battle of Yavin. You have episode 2, which is 22 years before the Battle of Yavin. So there's 10 years between, in time between episode 1 and episode 2. 19 years before Battle of Yavin was episode 3. You have Star Wars, which is the Battle of Yavin. If you guys don't know what that is, that's the Yavin is the planet that the battle takes place above when Luke blows up the Death Star for the first time. 3 years after that, you have Empire Strikes Back. So if Luke is 17 because he's almost 18 in the events of episode 4, he is what does it make him, 22, right? Almost 22.
Yeah.
Right? Doing the math right? Almost 22 when Empire Strikes Back happens, which means the time frame I'm talking about with Dr. Aphra, he is literally 21, somewhere around there, when he hooks up with this smoking hot.
Yeah, I like yours
Smuggler
better
one.
than.
I'm trying to see. So they said in Empire's End is when Leia gives birth to Ben.
Aftermath.
Yeah, Aftermath. Which Aftermath or Aftermath Empire's End? Because Aftermath is literally like right after.
1 year. It said 1 year after Jakku.
Okay. Oh, so maybe it is. Maybe, yeah.
No, 1 year after Endor. Sorry.
Which is 4 years after Yavin.
Yeah, so that would make Kylo 29 in The Force Awakens and Rey 19.
Yeah, because it would have been a year after Endor, and then Force Awakens is 34 years after Yavin. So you minus that, he'd be 29.
Yeah,
which means he'd have been 12 when he had sex for the first time, or at least, I don't know. I'm not going to judge first time. He could be. I don't know what Jedis do. But yeah, I mean, okay. So yes,
jokes on you. He's got 8 kids already.
Bang! What? That is some
one
powerful.
Of them's 25.
He drives his sperm with the Force. He's just like pregnant. Did I almost get you?
Yeah.
Yes, nice. I almost got Mike to pull a munger and spit all over the equipment. This time I actually throws in all the current stuff too, because you have book wise, well, movie wise, so anthology movies. We all know Rogue One takes place literally right before the Battle of Yavin, like literally days before the Battle of Yavin. Because I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the whole of Episode 4, A New Hope, or Star Wars as people call it, literally unfolds in days.
Oh, it does, huh?
Literally unfolds in days.
I've never really thought about that, but yeah, that's a pretty quick.
Luke meets Obi-Wan. They meet Han. Same day. Literally the same day. So you meet Luke.
You see burnt up Uncle Owen.
Yep. You see Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen dead, which, by the way, not true. You see scorched bodies, was later told in canon they are not dead.
Oh, shit.
Boom, motherfuckers. Anyways, lesser known canon, but it is apparently true. I think they're dead now, but that's because Luke is like 60 something.
Because Joel Edgerton.
Well, actually, we can do this math. If he's, where's your math machine again? So he's 17 in there. What's 17 and 34?
51.
He's 51 in Force Awakens. Minus 17? Or minus 19?
32.
So he would have been 32 when he had a grandchild. When a grandchild was born. That seems rough.
Yeah.
That seems real rough.
And he would have to be, I mean, a 17 and a 17.
Well, that's actually not that bad at all then, right?
No, not too bad.
Especially since he doesn't know. Well, no, because he would have been 19 or 20 if the encounter with Aphra was when she had their child.
Yeah, so that still holds.
It's pretty close, yeah. Um,
Trying to.
so you have that. We don't know what year episode 8 or 9 takes place in along that time. But some shit happens. Movie wise, all the anthology movies take place before the Battle of Yavin, so they're gonna fall somewhere between episode 3 and 4, because you have the Han Solo movie and Rogue One. Like I said, Rogue One, we know exactly when that happens, because, well, you know, we saw it happen.
Yeah.
We literally saw the end of Rogue One before we knew Rogue One was a thing.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. So yeah, I mean, it's not bad.
And there's some wiggle room on all these too. They could fudge it up a little bit,
Yeah.
you know.
And I don't know exactly. I'm trying to see if, because Shattered Empire, which is the series that predated the book I'm talking about, he could have been 18, 19, because it took place before Empire Strikes Back, and Star Wars and Darth Vader, the Princess Leia, the Lando, and the Chewbacca book all happened shortly after the Battle of Yavin, which within a year or so. So he could have been about 18 or 19 when he hooked up with Dr. Afra. So I mean, math holds up. I could be correct. Our friend Tim, Tim, who listens to the show, said that it'd be weird if they introduced Rey's lineage in a comic book, even though it's canon, because not enough people are going to know who that really is. But, I mean, up until episode, we got the prequels, we never even heard or saw of Padme.
Yeah, so Anakin was 23 in episode 3.
Which is 19 years before. Oh, shit. That's 19 years. So, episode 3, he was how old? 23?
23, it says.
He was actually older than Luke then, because 19 years before the Battle of Yavin was episode 3. Battle of Yavin was the events of. Well, no, because if they're saying that, the Battle of Yavin means Luke and Leia were 19. That can't be right, though, because he meant to mention that he's almost 18, which is almost old enough to join the academy.
Oh, no.
Can you see a funny thing say how old Luke was in episode 4? Because I want to say he was almost 18. Still, I mean, it's still going to add up the same.
Episode 4?
Yeah.
22.
What? That makes no sense.
No, 19 in episode 4. Sorry.
Episode 4, they were 19.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that, I mean, that would be.
That makes them 19, 22, and 23.
Because they were born.
And it says he's 53 now. Or in The Force Awakens, 53. So what's that one say?
Well, it says the events of episode 3 happened 19 years before Battle of Yavin, which happens to be episode 4. So it was 19 years. He was 19 because he was born. They were born at the end of episode 3, him and Leia.
Right.
19 years later, the events of New Hope happens.
Right.
34 years pass until Force Awakens.
So yeah, 19 plus 34 is 53.
Earlier, didn't you say he was 51?
No.
You're
giving me different math.
All right, well, that still adds up, though.
Yeah.
Because even if he's 19, he's 20-ish when he meets Afra. They bang, have a kid he doesn't know about. That kid then later has a child who's 19. Holy shit. 19, 19, and 19. I just did that fucking math. Interesting.
But the only thing that fucks it up is Anakin was 23 when he had his kid.
Yeah. Not that Joe's gonna listen to this episode, but 19's got a big number in Dark Tower. Because as you all know from listening to the show, Joe doesn't listen, so we can say whatever the fuck we want, and he'll never know. So have fun with that. Yeah, that's interesting. I wish there was dates on some of the books, because there's
What do you know? What do you think about Palpatine?
What about him?
Still alive?
So in the now forgotten canon,
Who's the new guy?
Snook?
Yeah.
I think it's someone we haven't met yet.
Really?
Yeah. There's a lot of theories. One theory I thought was pretty interesting is that he isn't a Force user at all. He has actually duped Kylo, Ben, into... So he's a really big fan of the Sith.
Yeah.
And so he's like... So when Rogue One came out, we talked about the Wills, who are essentially Force-sensitive monk-type people who keep the secrets and keep the order of the Jedi kind of in line, right? You know? Like, they're like the monastery people, monks, basically, like I said.
Right.
The theory is that he does not have the ability to use the Force, or he's not in tune with the Force. He's a really big fan of the Sith, like fanboy of the Sith, and has collected and learned about the Sith and the way they do things. And in doing so, he's risen in power, and he's just like this super rich guy, like unbelievably rich, and he essentially finances the First Order, which comes out of the springs its head forth from the wreckage that is the Galactic Empire. And so he seats himself in power because he has the money to help them build what they need to build. But he's like a really big fan of the Sith and like the dark side. And so he basically takes what he's learned over the years of collecting and learning about the Sith and the dark side has trained Kylo. And that's why Kylo is very unstable in the way that he's not fully like... Vader was very in tune with the dark side of the Force. Right. Very in tune, choking people. You know, it's not really a big hard skill, but he was good too, and that's what made him not so like the. You know, people say, "Oh, he's not so far into the dark side because he can't use lightning." No, dipshits, you have to have bones to create lightning, because if you shot lightning through your metal arms, they would break. So he has no actual appendages that are not robotic, because if you saw episode 3, he got his leggy legs and his army arms chopped off by his best friend and teacher, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
Technically, I know you're going to correct me. Someone's going to correct me. He got one of his arms chopped off and both his legs chopped off by Anakin, or by Obi-Wan, because the other one was the mechanical one, and so you saw him grasping with the metal burnt up hand.
I hate you.
Yeah, exactly. You were the chosen one.
You were the chosen one.
So technically, he can't use the Force lightning, because you have to conduct electricity out of your bones, and if you did that with the metal, it would destroy them, and you'd have to be replacing your arms every time you shot electricity. So that's the reason why he does not shoot lightning. Little does everyone know yet, I have a feeling, that Luke can actually produce lightning from one of his arms, because he has one fully human arm, unlike his right hand, which is a mechanical hand just below the wrist, or above the wrist. Is this above or below? Which way does it go? Above or below? Above or above?
I don't know.
I'm pointing to Mike. Is above your wrist on your arm?
Below.
This is below?
Because if you think about your elbow, you would say your forearm is below your elbow.
So this is below, this is above.
So yeah, your hand would be below your wrist.
Okay, so he lost his hand above his wrist on his right hand when his poppy chopped it off. Okay. Above his wrist. So basically from Papa, he has a metal hand he has a mechanical hand on his right side. I think they replaced some, like this portion has some metal in it too, because you saw the mechanics. But they have to, because then there's a poke it on, it's going to work. They have to rewire some shit. So his right hand, he cannot shoot electricity out of. Later, again, this is
you imagine
some
how,
canon, but he can stop electricity with it and doesn't fuck it up.
You imagine
He uses the force.
how
though.
crazy the theater's gonna go
when
if
he shoots
at one
fucking
point
lightning.
he shoots some lightning at somebody. In the next
Literally,
movie.
people are gonna start jerking off if they don't automatically just. So
it's gonna be one of those things. Like,
if you're in a busy
remember the
theater,
blew
bring a
up-
poncho.
blew up when Vader did his thing at the end of Rogue One.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
people were like, "Oh," like, they were more speechless and everything.
Yeah,
But just one shot of him just fucking boom,
Throwing lightning
wiping some dudes out with lightning. That crowd's gonna fucking go ape shit.
yeah, for sure.
It's gonna happen.
Because he's literally gonna use force in this movie, and if he doesn't, I'll throw a fucking fit and a chair through a fucking screen.
They could do that shit easy now. So
Yeah.
they better make him look like a badass.
Yeah. But yes, if he does shoot lightning, people are gonna lose their shits because Luke Skywalker legitimately shot lightning out of his fucking body. But also people are like, "Oh my god, does that make him evil?" No, it does not. There's a lot of detail we've talked about it here before because I keep pining over a book called The Dark Disciple, where the only other Jedi to master both light and dark side powers, Quinlan Voss is his name. Luke is the other one that I was speaking of. Luke has the ability; he has mastered both light and dark side powers, so he can throw lightning technically with one hand, which is fucking dope. If you ask me, I think it's fucking dope. I don't know what Mike thinks. He's over poking on his Google machine.
Pretty dope.
But I was just saying, like, if he's fighting Kylo, the other Knights of Ren. So Kylo's band of misduders. Oh, there's another. Don't forget to remind me. I forget to know this rant about stuff about Captain Phasma and how she may not be who we think she is. There's rumors that the Knights of Ren play a bigger role in this movie, in The Last Jedi, and I would like to see them attacking Luke and Rey, and Rey going ape shit on him, but also Luke handing down to business against these dudes, and people go, "Oh, but I only saw one person with a lightsaber, and that was Kylo." That's because some of those motherfuckers got vibro blades, and vibro blades are a big deal in the Star Wars universe that hasn't really been on screen. They were, but no one used them that way, and those would be the Imperial Guards, the guys in the red. Their staffs have vibro attachments so they can actually block lightsabers with them. Because the fact that if you're going to send someone to kill Palpatine, it's probably going to be a Force user, and that Force user is probably going to have a lightsaber, and you need someone who doesn't just go, "Oh, shit, my sticky stick got broke by a lightsaber." So the weapons you see have that capability in them, and it's the same technique that the shock stick that the dude had, Trader had, that he was able to block Finn's lightsaber with because it didn't chop through it. The electrical field it hits is the vibro. That's the same type of thing a vibro blade does. But vibro blade, for the people who don't know, is a sword and/or knife or axe or bladed weapon that vibrates at the exact same frequency that a beam of a lightsaber does. So it's able to actually block it without getting cut in half. Because a lightsaber essentially can cut through anything. Given time, will melt through anything as well. We saw that in episode 1. So technically, those weapons can stop a lightsaber blade, but they can't stop this motherfucking force lightning from shocking your ass.
Ain't no stopping that.
Nope. Ask Vader.
No stopping.
Because that motherfucker tried. He got all burnt up. And
Mace
he's
Windu,
mostly
too.
like robot, so.
Mace Windu got all fucked up.
Yeah. That's another thing. Mace Windu is supposed to be alive still. I'm like,
No, he is.
yeah, I know, but
I'm
it's
buying
like,
all into that one.
but it's like I'm down, but like,
because
dude,
I
he's
want
gonna
Sam
be
Jackson in the
fucked
next movie.
up. Be so fucked up.
Yeah, dude.
So fucked up.
He's gonna look so dope.
So mad. Just a gnarly scar and
Yeah.
like all burnt.
Yeah.
So Captain Phasma, thanks for reminding me, Mike.
Phasma.
So in Shattered Empire, I mentioned this earlier, is a miniseries that was done in the canon comic book. It takes place during the events of Return of the Jedi. So like Adventures of, because Return of the Jedi is 4 years after Battle of Yavin, but is like like a whole year. Like it's a year after Empire Strikes Back, but has a lot of leeway in there. Aftermath takes place right after the events of Return of the Jedi. This takes place right before that, so the Empire is not completely done yet. But the Shattered Empire is essentially them forming their plan to take the Empire out. Anyways, in that it is revealed that Captain Phasma was trained as a rebel spy. So the rumors are she is unknowns to anybody outside Leia, who never interacts with Phasma, and a few other people. She's actually super deep in undercover because her parents at one point were killed by the Empire, and she became a rebel and was trained as a high-level spy and was placed in the Shattered Empire, which led to her being part of the formation of the First Order by Snook and all of his men.
I would have said bullshit before I saw Rogue One.
Yep.
But Rogue One allowed for that high level infiltration shit. That'd be pretty dope.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
And think about this. We know she's alive. She didn't die in the trash compactor. We don't know if she was thrown in or not. Highly recommended by 2 people. 3 if Chewie actually chimed in. He did say something. We don't know what he says because they don't speak Wookiee.
He said, trash that bitch.
Trash that bitch.
Chewie's actually filthy.
He's
every other word is
he
fuck.
is on the level of R2-D2 and Groot. Like they
Yeah.
just have the worst. Like sailors blush when they start ranting. Like it's just like, yo, there are other words than fuck, pussy, and cunt. All right, like please God, pick another word. These fucking pirates. What the hell? But yeah, so the rumor is not rumor, I guess the fan theory, because it's already told she was trained as a spy, which doesn't mean she's not fully bad. If she's not fully bad, she is the most undercover you could possibly be without literally murdering your father. Ooh.
What?
What? So yeah. Oh yeah, and the rumors are, because they're ramping up for casting of episode 9 for everybody who's not, they won't say us who's going to be in it yet because it's potential spoilers who lives or dies in episode 8. But rumors are they are bringing back Han Solo for flashback scenes. So Harrison Ford will be in a little bit in episode 9. So this is where it comes from. So there was a rumor that one of the things we'll find out in episode 8 is how Luke got to where he was without anything. He doesn't have an astromech droid, which means if he did have an X-wing or a ship on that island, he would need some way of navigating off of that, which means he'd have to do it by hand. Not that he couldn't, because he's done it before when R2 went down in a book. Not the point. But he isolated himself on there for a reason. But if he had a ship, when Han died, he most likely would get off that planet to go avenge his best friend's death. So the rumor is this. Han knew exactly where Luke was at because he and Chewie are actually the ones that brought him to that island, and that's the reason Leia and the Rebellion have R2 in deep sleep mode, because he came back with Han, and the only time he was going to activate, and with the activation code of the star map that brought him out of sleep mode to then display it to let them know where he was at. And that was only going to happen if Han Solo died. Or shit like this happens. That's the rumor. So the rumor is, the flashbacks we will see is Han Solo in an argument with Luke about why he's abandoning everybody, and then finally agreeing to dump him off on this planet before leaving. And that's one of the reasons he is a no-show to Leia and Ben, is because he fails as a father, he fails as a husband, and he fails as a best friend. So he goes off with Chewie, his only real friend, to smuggle throughout the galaxy. No, yet another fan theory. based on basic rumors that that Harrison Ford has been contracted to come back for an appearance in one more movie. That's where it's at.
Yeah, that'd be good because you would want one more scene. You know, that's the biggest like about the Force Awakens is you didn't get to see Luke and Han
Yep.
because you saw everyone else pretty much interact that you needed to. You know.
You didn't get to see Leia and Luke, but you'll see that this movie.
Yeah, but you get to see that.
Yeah.
Like you'll see that at some point. But with Han's death, spoiler alert, you don't what? You don't get to see that. So that'd be cool. I'm all for flashback scenes.
Motherfucker. Yeah, so that's that. Star Wars. Caught you up on your Star Wars news. Joe's not here to talk about Alien Covenant. Not that we've seen it yet. I'm not gonna say that. Are we going tomorrow night? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, I get off at 6, so maybe we can if you depending on where you work. Not my point though. If you're one that doesn't like spoilers, do not watch the HBO first look at it. I made the mistake of watching that.
They fuck something up.
Yeah.
A big thing.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, I was really upset when I watched it.
Did you?
No
see,
goddamn warning ahead of time either.
I came. I think it was coming soon. Posted a dope little video of that's what I look like. That's
Gross. Yes. I
I grow a beard out every time.
Like the Play-Doh man. Jen knows it's coming because the beard starts coming out.
They posted a cool little like 4-minute video of the time frames of the Alien movies, which we all know you don't have to go past Aliens, but they went past Aliens just to give all the time frame. I thought it was a nice little recap because they didn't like bog it down with all the blah 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 that a lot of those videos do.
Something history of the Xenomorph, right? Is that one?
No, it's just a straight timeline of the movie. I'll take it and post it to the Facebook page because it's pretty good. It's a nice. It just kind of gets you caught up on like where Prometheus time frame happened to when Alien Covenant happens, like the start of it, because they don't know where it ends, obviously. But then they jump right to Alien and then Aliens. It's a good one. That sucks that they spoiling stuff. Now, are they spoiling something real or are they spoiling something that you were hoping to be a surprise?
They are. Well, I guess it would be more of something I wanted to be. Well, something I wanted to see that we knew was happening because that was the premise of the movie. But I don't want to say much because it really bums me out that I know this happens now.
Do you think it's weird that Danny McBride's in this movie?
That's gonna bring my. So I was gonna bring that up. So this is right here. This is not the video I watched. This is a different one. But the HBO one was really fun because they had cast and crew stuff, and I've been watching interviews selectively because I know those interviews don't ever really spoil much in them. So which is really nice. But a couple things that I heard that were really funny to me, and one that's fucking terrifying, and I'll get to that one last because that one's fun. So Danny McBride made the joke about how he was surprised he was cast because he's never really done anything that's drama or anything like that. It's always been comedy for the most part for everything that I can think of. And even said the things like, so he was really excited to get to see this script because he knew he was gonna be the funny guy who died right away. But then read the script and said, but there's not a goddamn joke in sight. There's no levity whatsoever in it. He's like, there's a little bit like in line said and situations, but really there's no levity in this. It's just dark as fuck. The entire time, like it's just like bad shit happens, more bad shit happens, people die, more bad shit happens, a lot more people die, bad shit happens, people die, and it's like
that's how it's supposed to be.
But it's it's funny.
To feel like you got kicked in the nuts after you're done watching
every time,
movie.
And it just goes along with Covenant, which to me is one of the most perfect ways to make a prequel to Aliens, if you ask me, because it feels different, but it feels the same. It has like parts of both Alien and Aliens like together, and I think Covenant has the same thing. The other one was that him and Billy Cuprid, I can't, Jesus guys, don't mind me guys, I'm drunk apparently. Cupid, who plays the captain of Covenant, said they filmed it all in Australia, and because they were so far away from everything, that they built a creature shop on set to do all the makeup and all the prosthetics, so they could house everything, right? Because normally when you have big movies like this, you have a prop area that has all that stuff, but they were creating it there on set because it's so massive, and you don't want to ship a lot of that stuff, especially to Australia, which is so remote from everything, you know.
And also to avoid spoilers and shit.
Yeah, also because you ship stuff, people click a picture. Everyone got a goddamn camera in their pocket. So they were talking about how, like, to get to the cafeteria, at one point they had to walk through the creature shop. And he says it's really unnerving because you're going to go eat lunch and you walk by the corpses of all your friends.
Yeah. That's fucked up.
Right? I thought it was pretty funny. But the really funny one from I believe it was the HBO one I watched, it was pretty cool, is Ridley Scott actually had a contortionist, a 6'6" contortionist in the xenomorph suit on set for them to act to. Because a lot of times with these, obviously they're not real creatures. You're not looking opposite a bear like Leo did in The Revenant. There's no such thing as a xenomorph. Thank fucking God.
That'd be frightening.
Oh God, it's terrifying to think
I would
about.
never leave.
I would just be
anywhere.
I would live in an armored bunker underground with no actual airflow. Which would probably kill me after a while, but it's fine. I'm not going to die of a horrible xenomorph death. So they have this guy in this suit, and he said a funny thing about it is, like, you see this guy and you're acting opposite and he's scaring. It just looks terrifying the way he moves his body and stuff. And then you go to eat your meal and he's sitting across the table from you without the head on, and you're just like, oh, this dude's just a regular guy, you know? But that's not so the cool part I thought of was pretty gnarly about the having contortionist is they built these sets full on. So they're not like, you know, a door and like the rest of it's CG. Like, they're full on corridors they build for these ships. So they have these airlocks that open and close, and they're functional. So you hit a button and the door opens. It's not you hit the button and some guy moves a panel. It's a functional hydraulic door they built,
nice.
which is fucking insane to think about.
Yeah.
So you're pressing buttons to close or open a door. That you press the button, that door opens. You did that action. So you press a glowy button, that glowy button depresses, and a door opens up. You made that action happen. So in the scene that he was talking about is there's a part where the xenomorph is on the ship and they don't know where it's at. So in filming, Ridley Scott did that to them. They put the contortionist in one of the various hallways and shot it multiple times and did not tell him where it was coming from and did not tell him what buttons did what door. So the reactions you get are them getting literally the shit scared out of them by a human xenomorph.
He likes doing that to his
a
cast,
la
doesn't he?
Alien with the chestbuster
With the
scene,
chestbuster.
which we've talked about on the show before. Chestbusters, if you don't know, if you go back and listen to it, I don't know what episode it is because
14.
it's episode 14 according to Mike. He's our historian, so it's probably correct. If you don't know the story,
Not at all.
in the original filming of Alien, Ridley Scott told nobody on set and hardly any crew other than the special effects crew and the camera guys, I can't remember who it is.
Guys, because they had multiple shots.
Yeah, oh, that's true. Yeah, guys. So basically, what happened is the only person from the cast who knew what was happening was John Hurt. John Hurt, if you don't know, is the gentleman who lays on the table who has the chestburster come out of him. Now, everyone goes back to this scene who talks about horror movies and sci-fi movies, saying this is one of the most well done reveals of anything because it's terrifying. So, yes, the people who are in that movie are terrific actors. The thing you don't know, may not know, may know, who knows, the reactions you see when that chestburster pops out of John Hurt's chest is legitimate terror. This is the reason why. During rehearsals, John Hurt laid on the table and acted sick like he was supposed to. He was supposed to vomit up blood, and he was supposed to be dying. They knew that was going to happen. They knew that the xenomorph alien at that time, because I don't think it was called xenomorph back then, was gestated in him. They knew that already. They just didn't know how it came out. Like, what happened? Did he turn into it? What happens, right? So what they didn't know at the time is during rehearsals, he's on the table acting sick. When it comes to shooting, he's supposed to spit up blood and, like, contort, right? Cool. They come to set. There's John Hurt now laying on the table like he was, now in costume. And the same thing starts to happen. The body starts to twitch. He starts to spit up blood. And all of a sudden, this bloody creature starts pounding out of John Hurt's chest. And they freak the fuck out. That's legitimate because only John Hurt knew of the cast and most of the crew that was actually going to happen. So the terror and the fright that you see on
Is
their
the one
faces.
girl that gets blood all over her
Yeah.
face, the fake blood. Oh, Jesus, her.
She has no idea that that's fake. All of a sudden, the guy she's been shooting this movie with the last few months literally has an alien bursting out of his body. Now, mind you, I'm sure it cut and they all were like freaking out and then laughed together, but the terror and
That
and
initial
fright,
reaction of everybody. Yeah.
that is legitimate. That they actually, like, that jump you saw, like, everyone, when you first see that movie, now, like, if you see it now for the first time or way back then when I was like 6 and I saw it, you get that same, that's the horror and terror. You get like, oh shit, like, Jesus, that's a legitimate jump
But it's
scare.
only it's a great jump scare.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the greatest
Yes.
in movie history. But the part that nobody talks about is how adorable that little alien looks when he's running away, though.
Sure.
Like that part.
The top hat and the cane really play it, you know?
Like, I wish, and this is nitpicking, because Alien is one of the greatest horror sci-fi movies, either genre,
yeah,
ever.
for sure.
But that thing looked pretty ridiculous when it was running
Yeah.
away. And luckily, it's a real quick shot. But if you slow it down, because I have, because it makes me laugh, that little thing is just kind of running away.
It's she's like, yeah, I'm getting away. So yeah, and apparently, the shower scene we see in the trailer disturbed the actress in it so badly she didn't shower for 3 days.
Gross.
Yeah, stinky.
I don't get scared so bad I don't have hygiene anymore. That sounds like a good time.
Yeah, it doesn't. So I think that's it.
All right, so next week we report on Alien.
Yes, either we see it tomorrow night, as of recording Thursday night, or most likely we will see it on Sunday.
Are you sure it comes out this week? I thought it came out next week.
No, because next week is Pirates.
Isn't this week?
No, 19th is Alien, if I'm mistaken.
Hold on, let me double check. We might have to have this conversation again next week. Well, fuck me. You're right.
Boom, bitch! I know stuff. Booyah! Cause in order we have Alien Covenant, Pirates of the Caribbean 5, and then we have Wonder Woman. Those are the movies in a row that I know of for the next 3 weeks. There's another movie this week.
Baywatch sprinkled in somewhere there too.
Wednesday, right, or Thursday of next week?
I think so. Yeah.
Because it's the week. It's like the day or 2 days before.
They get a real Wednesday release though, which is odd.
Yeah, which is funny because we could see it Tuesday night if you were not at work.
Dumbass word.
Because we can go to Wing Night and it's got like a 10 o'clock show.
King Arthur is also this week.
King Arthur was last week. Yeah,
Oh.
last Friday.
Sorry.
Which I still want to see. I've heard some good things and heard some bad things. I heard if you're a Guy Ritchie fan, you're gonna like this movie. If you're a King Arthur fan, you're gonna loathe this movie. And if you're a Sherlock Holmes fan and like the Sherlock movies that he made, you're gonna like this movie too because it's very similar to those, but not similar to Excalibur. Because it takes some leaps and bounds, just like they did with Sherlock, and making that different too.
You know, Guy Ritchie's a black belt jiu-jitsu.
Do you know Guy Ritchie got to start making music videos? Do you know who else got his start making music videos?
Oh,
David Fincher.
I thought you were gonna say David Bowie. I was like, that's not right.
I mean, he did, technically.
No, David Bowie got his start. You know.
I don't think that's true, Mike. He
I mean,
pantomimed a
he's
blowjob.
talented.
Yeah, he's talented,
He's
but
super talented, but I mean,
he got to where he was for sucking dick.
I never said that.
That's what Mike pantomimed.
I didn't pantomime a dick suck.
Oh, that was playing the trumpet. Oh,
The
my
trumpet.
bad. The trumpet with the thing being against his Adam's apple in his throat.
So, like I was saying, come back next week. We'll tell
When
you
we
all the
talk about-
horrors.
We will spoil Covenant.
Well, I talked to 2 separate people. Said they started listening to our episode last week and then turned it off.
I had one person say that to me.
because they haven't seen Guardians yet.
Yep. So I will
So go watch Guardians if
Yeah,
you haven't.
yeah, and
listen
then
to
last week's episode.
last week's episode
because
it's
we
a fun
spoiled
one.
the shit out of it.
Yeah, and I listened to it because I thought I said something spoilery before the word spoiler came out, but I didn't. I confirmed it. You mentioned spoilers first.
I mentioned it right at the
So-
beginning. I think almost at the beginning.
Well, no, because after saying it, I felt bad because like fuck, I did say something bad without saying spoiler, but you had just said spoiler. So we're good. We got each other's backs.
I'm always watching out for my friends not to be spoiler machines because that's my goddamn job.
Hey, that's my gig, man.
Hey, man, that's where they got it from. So, tune in, Same Comes Naturally time. Same Comes Naturally podcast next week around, well, when you're hearing this for the first time, Friday or whenever
Friday
it's
morning.
Friday morning, 6 a.m. if you download directly or from the website or hopefully Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, that's a thing now.
Because,
And tell a friend.
You know what? Tell two friends. Have one of those friends tell two other friends. That first one of those two friends, that piece of shit can be lazy, just whatever. But if you tell two friends, one friend will tell two more friends. At least one of those two friends will tell two friends, and it's this cascade, and we'll be famous.
And it's like a pyramid scheme where nobody gets ripped off.
Yes.
So it's a good pyramid scheme. Help our good pyramid scheme.
Yes.
Of getting downloads.
Yeah.
And sexy downloads.
Sexy downloads. The kind of downloads that'll tickle your balls before and after.
I'm also not gonna guarantee that.
Metaphorically.
It's metaphorical.
By the way, that's a spoiler from Guardians. If you haven't seen it yet, go
Yeah.
fuck yourself. It has been 2 fucking weeks. Do yourself a goddamn favor. But like we were saying, next week we will spoil the shit out of Alien Covenant because that's what we goddamn do here.
I'm so excited about this movie.
I am too, because
this is the most excited I think I'm gonna be this summer. Honestly,
even if the shitty people who have I've not read the reviews but read parts of the reviews say if you like Prometheus, you're gonna love this movie. I'm like, I love Prometheus.
Yeah.
Like I'm
People
one of like
shit
the
on
19
Prometheus.
people who actually love that movie.
I think
besides Ridley Scott.
people forget that Alien and Aliens were two different movie makers.
Yes.
And I think people instantly go to Aliens when they think about this genre. And Prometheus was very much so more of an alien
Because it's
movie.
a thinker. You have to think of
It's
what's
Ridley
going
Scott.
on.
Like it if you get
No
mad,
shitting on what's his balls who made
James
Aliens.
Cameron.
James Cameron.
because he made a brilliant fucking movie.
Yes.
But he made an action movie.
He made an action movie out of something that, like, if you're like me and we've talked about this before, I watched Aliens first
Yes.
because that's the age I was at, and my mom refused to let us watch Alien because there's so much different in it. Little does she know, both movies are fucked up. You go back and watch Alien when you're younger, it's a hard watch.
Yeah.
Because it's very heavy.
I didn't appreciate it till I went back in my 20s.
Yeah, and watched it, and you
watched
realize,
it.
God damn, this is one of the scariest movies I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It's Jaws in space.
Oh, yeah. It is.
That's what it is.
And
Jaws
they
is
have
terrifying.
restraint. They have restraint with the xenomorph,
Yeah.
which is so important in movies. You don't want to blow your whole wad.
Yeah, especially
fucking with
early
your
movies.
monster movies.
Now, like, when you come to Prometheus, there's not a whole lot of xenomorph in it. When actually we didn't even know there's no xenomorph in it.
I thought one is a xenomorph.
No, in
I thought the window buster is a xenomorph.
Covenant it is.
Oh, in Covenant.
Prometheus,
I'm sorry. Yeah,
it's the other one, the nanomorph.
Nanomorph.
That one,
Weird looking one.
yeah, the one with the pointy thing, because it comes out of a different creature. It doesn't come out of a humanoid, but it doesn't come out of a human. And obviously the
Which
space
one had
jockeys,
the dog one? Which one's the one? Was that 3?
3. Yeah,
That thing was dope.
Oh yeah.
I think like that movie sucked, but that thing was dope, dude. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, they didn't
And
go
I got
wrong with
real
the
sad
creatures.
about the dog.
Yeah, it's like, oh, is the dog okay? Like, can you?
I didn't give a fuck about humans dying in movies.
Yeah. But dogs, goddamn
Yeah,
it!
don't
like
kill
the thing.
animals.
Fuck you, the thing.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah. Oh god, no, shoot it. Burn it with fire. Land a ship on it. Crash your helicopter on it. We need a helicopter. Fuck it. Just crush that thing. It's terrifying. It makes me sad every time it looks at it. So back to what we're saying is next week we will be spoiling Alien Covenant. That was a random tangent of like 10 minutes. So advanced warning for the advanced warning. Next Friday's episode, so week from this week's episode, if you listen to them on that Friday, we will be spoiling Alien Covenant just like last week, a week ago Friday, we spoiled some Guardians Volume 2.
'Tis the season of spoils, sir. 'Tis the season of spoils.
Every time there's a big movie to come out, we go see it. We're going to fucking ruin it for you the next week. So be on top of your game, kids.
Yeah, opening weekend. Get to that shit.
Yeah, because we're going to ruin it for you.
Yes, sir.
on the show, not on like the Facebook page. So still go there.
Yeah,
And-
we're not dicks.
Yeah, I mean, come on now. What are we?
Come on
Me?
now. What are we, monsters?
So that's it for this week's episode of Comes Naturally. We are.
Mike.
I am Cody. And there is no Joe.
No, Joe. Joe,
is-
so no.
Yeah.
Clap.
I'm pretty sure they can hear the high five, but yeah, clap works too. So as usual, you fuckers just came naturally.
Yeah. Play some air guitar tonight, guys.